everyone, welcome back. I'm Risa and this is Risa Does Makeup, and today I'm going to be sharing with you my favorite products from the brand Too Faced. I've been wanting to do a best of the brand series for quite a long time now. I've seen a lot of other YouTubers do this where they will select one specific brand and then let you know what their favorite products are from that line. Sometimes they'll do the 5 best or the 5 worst. This was just such an easy, it was a no-brainer selection because I started to think, like, I have so many Too Faced favorites. It might actually be my overall favorite brand. You would think that it would be Charlotte Tilbury because I use so much of that line, or even Milani. I use so much from that brand. But I have to say that putting together this video made me realize that Too Faced holds the most space in my makeup collection, and I love so many of their products. So let's jump in. Normally when I do these 10 best or 5 favorites, they're in no particular order, but in this video I am gonna rank them from my number 10 favorite to my number 1 favorite. So let's start with number 10. My number 10 favorite is the Love Flush Blush. I had to say that slowly because it's sort of a tongue twister when you try to say it fast. And my favorite shade is Justify My Love. I'm not sure if these have been discontinued because I could not find them on the Ulta website, but I did find them on the Too Faced website. And I have always been a big fan of these blushes because I find them to be really, really pigmented and long wearing, and the color selection I thought was great. So I'm really not sure why they would discontinue this range of blush, but Justify My Love is one of my favorites because I love a pink cheek. I really, if you know my channel at all, if you know me at all, that's pretty obvious. I really like a pink blush, a pinky peach blush, and this one is just the perfect baby doll pink. No, I'm not wearing it right now because I have another blush from another palette on right now. It's kind of hard to do a video like this and show everything on your face. Up next is the lip color I am currently wearing. This is the shade Birthday Suit, and I think this is from like the Natural Lipstick collection, and this is one of my favorite nudes. That's another thing most of you already know as far as my makeup taste, my makeup preferences. I love a pink cheek and a nude lip. So this is Birthday Suit swatched, and as I said, it's already on my lips. This is such a creamy lipstick, and I like a creamy lipstick because it has a shine to it, and so I don't feel like I need to wear a gloss on top. It's a little bit longer lasting than wearing a lipstick with a gloss on top, and I have always felt that a creamy lipstick, especially on a more mature skin, is more flattering, it's more youthful looking. And this goes with so many different nude lip liners. I currently have on Iconic Nude from Charlotte Tilbury, but whenever I wear this lipstick, I get so many compliments. I've actually been stopped by women who've said, "What is that lip color? It's so nice." So number 9 is the lipstick in Birthday Suit. Number 8 is the Too Faced bronzer. I have 2 shades. I have Chocolate Soleil and Milk Chocolate Soleil, which I seem to have misplaced because I wanted to show it in the video as well, but could not find it. A lot of my makeup tends to go missing because I'm always reorganizing and moving things around, and it's got to be somewhere. But Milk Chocolate is great for fair to light skin, whereas Chocolate Soleil is better for a medium deep. I believe there might be one more that is even deeper than this. What I like about these bronzers is that they are so multi-purpose. You can use them to bronze and to contour, and you can't always do that with bronzers. Sometimes they're too shimmery, or sometimes they're too orangey or kind of gray. So these, for me, have been really nice contour shades as well as eyeshadow shades. So if you're in a hurry and you just want one product that you can sort of bronze, contour, eyeshadow, this is fantastic. They also have a really nice, smooth, blendable texture. My number 7 favorite is the Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. I purchased this when it first launched, maybe, 6 months ago? I'm not really sure, but when it came out, a lot of people were talking about this. I heard a lot of other influencers saying that this was a really good concealer for mature skin. I purchased the shade Vanilla. and I tried it and I thought it was like okay, but I do not like large doe foot applicators. I say that a lot in my videos. So if you're new, now you know that I am not a fan of the large doe foot applicators because I feel like that really lends itself to people using too much product. And concealer is something where less is actually more. Contrary to what you see a lot on YouTube where people go ham with their concealer, less is usually more, especially if you have more mature skin. So I sort of set this one aside. I thought, it's okay. And then I started hearing more and more about people raving about it and, months later. A lot of times when products come out and there's a lot of hype and people raving about them for the first 2 weeks or a month, you think, oh, it's just the newest thing that everybody's loving. But when you hear people still raving about it 5-6 months later, you think, oh, all right, maybe there's something here. So I decided to reach for it and try it again. And this actually really is a good concealer for those of us with more aging eyes, 35, 40, 50 plus. It's real creamy, but it doesn't settle. It does need to be set, but just very lightly, and it lasts all day. It's brightening. There's a nice color selection with this product, and I'm glad I gave it a second chance because now it definitely is one of the top ones in my concealer rotation. My number 6 favorite does contain the cheek color that I'm using right now, as well as what I used for contour. It is the Natural Face Palette. And what I love about this palette is, again, it's multi-use. You can use this for contour, bronzing, highlight, shadow color, and there's that bright pink blush that I love. And it's a little bit more of like a corally pink. It's a little bit more of a brighter corally pink undertone versus Justify My Love, which is definitely more cool mauve-y toned than Pink Wink. And when I'm showing you all these products, these are my top 10 favorites. I am definitely by no means suggesting that you need all of these things in your collection, because if you are someone that doesn't need to have 5-6 bright pink blushes in your makeup drawer, then you don't need a face palette and a separate blush. You could probably, if you are looking for a bright pink blush and a bronzer and a highlighter, this is a great way to go because it's all in one. This palette is just so beautiful. I mean, even if you just look at the reviews on the Sephora website or Ulta's website, most people really, really love this palette. This would make a great gift. Mother's Day is going to be here before we know it for those of us in the United States. If you have a makeup loving mother or sister or best friend that you think could use a multi-purpose palette, then I would definitely look into this one. My number 5 pick is an eyeshadow palette. This is the Sweet Peach. I've been using and loving this for a couple of years now. It's been out for a couple of years now, I think. Now I have to tell you, I did film a tutorial for the eye look that I have on now. I thought, you know what, I'm gonna film just a really quick look because I used some shades from this palette and the shades from another palette I'm gonna be getting to. And I thought, well, I'll just do a quick 5-minute tutorial. My camera wasn't on. I mean, it was on, but it wasn't recording. That very, very rarely happens, but sometimes it happens. Even though I've been doing this for a long time now, once in a while, I'll hit the record and I'll think it's recording, but there has to be that red dot. And when I finished, actually I was putting my lashes on and I looked up and I saw that there was no red dot. You can imagine the words that came out of my mouth. I know you're frustrated that now you're not going to get to see the tutorial, but trust me, no one is more frustrated than the YouTuber when they film something and then they realize it wasn't recording. So I'm just going to tell you what I used from this palette and why I love it. I used on my lid my favorite shimmery lid shade, or one of my favorite shimmery lid shades. This is called Luscious. I also mentioned in the tutorial that one of my favorite shades for softly lining the lower lash lines is this shade called Caramelized. I know there are those of you that are sensitive to scents, so you might not like that this is scented like peaches, but I personally love the smell of peach, and I love the smell of all of these peach products. And there's just so many beautiful colors in this palette, especially going into spring. There's this beautiful mossy green called Bless Her Heart. I really like that there's a combination of mattes and shimmers. The shimmers can be used wet or dry. I find them to be very, very bold and very, very pigmented when used wet. I think I already said this, but I did use Luscious on my lids, and then I used Caramelized underneath. But the rest of the eyeshadows are from the next palette, which brings me to number 4, the Just Peachy Mattes. So if you're someone that doesn't use shimmers at all and you want a great all matte palette, then this is my go-to and one of the ones I would highly recommend. So for my eyes from this palette, I mixed the Peach Cobbler and Peach Tea. That went in my crease and outer corner. This shade right here, I placed underneath my brows. And then for my outer corners, I used the shade Just Ripe. So I'll give you a closer look at my eyes using a combination of the Just Peachy Mattes and the original Peach palette. Again, I am so sorry that the tutorial didn't make it in this video. I just love this palette so much. I feel like you can get such a wide variety of looks with it. It might be too warm for some people because a lot of the shades are quite warm tone. I mean, it is a peachy palette and peach itself is more of a warm tone. So I totally understand if some people just feel like, well, I would love a cool toned matte palette. So an idea for you, Too Faced, if you happen to see this video, how about you come out, well, actually, I don't own the other one. Is it called the White Peach? I don't know. Is that one a cooler tone palette? That one never really appealed to me, but I know someone will let me know, or quite a few people will probably let me know in the comments if it is a more cool toned palette that's all matte. But no, that one's not all matte. Okay, I digress. Back to this one. It's been one of my go-to palettes ever since it came out. Okay, we've just got number 3, number 2, and number 1. So my number 3 pick of my Too Faced favorites is a more recent find of mine, and I am crazy about it, or more recent purchase. I didn't just find it. I knew it existed. I just never purchased it before, and I don't know why, because I love it. It is the Sugar Peach Wet and Dry Face and Eye Palette. I've been using this almost daily since I purchased it maybe 4 or 6 weeks ago now. For my highlight today, I'm using the shade Peach Pearl, and as the name suggests, it's wet or dry. When I used this highlighter wet the other night, well, actually what I did was I sprayed my face with some Fix Plus, and then I went in while my skin was still damp, I went in with the Peach Pearl, and holy moly, was that some intense highlight. So only if you want super intense highlight would I recommend using it wet, either by using the method I just described or using a damp brush. But I love that this is a versatile palette for all skin tones, not just fair skins, but deeper skin tones can use this. And for me, I also like to mix the Peach Honey and the Sugared Peach, the two sort of more terracotta peachy shades, for blush if I want to do a more bronzy look, which I've been loving lately. It's such a natural, glowy look to mix those two together, or even mix the 3 together. So I've been just crazy about this since I got it. All right, we've come to my final 2, which really should go together because I use them together and I love the effects when used together. And they are the Peach Perfect Comfort Matte Foundation and the Peach Perfect Powder. If you have mature skin that's oily or combo, I've actually heard some dry skins say that they even like this foundation. It's such a beautiful medium coverage. I've heard some people say that this is full. It's not the kind of full that I'm used to. When I think of a full coverage foundation, I think of a full coverage like a MAC Studio Fix or the new Tarte Face Tape. Those are full coverage where you apply that and you don't have anything coming through, no freckles, no spots. This one is buildable, but it never gets heavy or cakey or looks like it's too much. I find this to be just such a beautiful foundation. I love that it comes with a pump and it's travel friendly. And then the powder, it really just gives me that airbrushed sort of finish. I've been trying other powders recently and I have others that I like, but when it comes to oil control and going into the summertime, so even if you're not normally oily year round, maybe you do get that T-zone shine. In the summer, it might be a good idea to switch up your powder, your setting powder, and this Peach Perfect one is just, it's beautiful. Aside from the Studio Fix Fluid Foundation, which has been one of my holy grails forever, and I've repurchased it constantly, I rarely ever repurchase the foundation, to be honest with you, unless I really, really love it. And I have repurchased this one. So that, for me, it's saying a lot. So there you have my top 10, but I do want to give some honorable mentions for those of you that don't have my type of skin, just based on trying them on other people. As a lot of you are aware, I used to freelance. I don't freelance much anymore, but as a freelance makeup artist, I worked with a variety of different skin types, and I would get feedback from clients and customers when I worked at the retail level. And a lot of my drier skin, my normal to dry skin clients, they always raved about the Born This Way foundation. And it didn't work for me because I just have such oily skin and I do like a little bit fuller coverage, but I highly recommend you giving it a try if you do have more combo to dry skin and you want a natural look. I have heard such great things about it. So I just wanted to mention that to those of you watching who might be more of that skin type. And then I've also heard raves about this Hangover RX Replenishing Face Primer. I've used it a couple times and I actually liked it. It's not good for, pore smoothing or anything like that, but I find that it just leaves my skin feeling really comfortable. The foundation goes on nicely over it. It's a different sort of feeling than the primers that I usually use, which are more silicone-based primers. This is very almost runny and wet feeling, but I think that that's a really nice texture for someone with a more dry skin. It's almost like you're applying a softening lotion to the skin. So this is another one I've heard great things about, and I have used it myself and I did enjoy it. I know somebody's gonna ask me about the Peach Perfect primer or any of the other primers from Too Faced. I gotta be honest with you, none of them really blew me away, which is why they didn't make this list. And then I know someone's going to be wondering about the Better Than Sex mascara. And for me, it's okay. I mean, I know it's one of the most popular mascaras in the world, but it's almost too thick for my wimpy lashes. I have very fine blonde lashes, and I don't know, it just didn't. There are other mascaras that I prefer. I like if we're talking about more high-end mascaras, I like the Marc Jacobs, Velvet Noir, I think it's called. And then one of my all-time favorites is the Chanel Le Volume. And I used to like Giorgio Armani Eyes to Kill, but yeah, Better Than Sex. I also found that it kind of got really clumpy really fast. So anyway, just my humble opinion, but I wanted to throw that in there because when you're talking about Too Faced, that's one of the things that most people think of. They think of the Better Than Sex mascara. I also have not purchased the Better Than Sex eyeliner yet. So if you have tried that, let me know in the comments if you think I should try that, and any other products from Too Faced that you think I'm missing out on or are wondering if I've tried. So as with all the comments I receive, I try to answer as many as possible. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And subscribe if you are not part of the Risa Does Makeup family yet. We would love to have you. You can also find me on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and Pinterest. It's easy to find me because my name is the same everywhere. It's all Risa Does Makeup. And that'll do it. Thank you again for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.